Hello, everyone. My name is Jaybird, and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. Without any further ado, let's get right back to where we left off last time. Hooray. Right here. Today, I am walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It has been quite a while since we have done this. Though we are here to run errands, there is also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the march and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently, that announcement had been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught onto it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I am not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king with... I am not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. God, I cannot talk. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It is not strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. And with everything else that's happened to me, I feel on edge. Wow, Jaybird, you must... I can't talk today. Ah! Wow, Jaybird, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Stop complaining, Miss Karma. You get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially since I know he can handle the load. I feel like a servant. What does that make me when you make... What does that make me when you made me carry all those bags before? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working at the Marchin, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do at the Marchin? Claude looks surprised at my question, but then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. Of course? What am I doing, French? I train the knights, of course. I also attract customers with my beautiful reputation. I start laughing and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. I wonder. We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake for both of us to share a snack. I have a lot of things I want to ask him, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling. Anything. Do you enjoy dressing like a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in anything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. I guess if you had to wear a dress for so long, you'd get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. Were you talking about the witch who cursed you? Oh no, the woman I was talking about. He suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. His expression fades into something more melancholy, and I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Shortly after I came to Angeli, there was a woman that I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful, and when she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? Claude watches me quietly as if he's measuring my expression. Eventually he goes back to speaking. I knew her for I'm sorry. I knew who... I knew... I'm sorry. Okay. I knew her for many months. Time passed and I thought we were truly in love. And then He goes silent for a few moments, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. She seemed so genuine in comparison to the other women, but in the end, Claude trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her? I was. I've dated many women, but I've never fallen in love with someone who has honestly loved me back. So then the last person he loved was that one woman. Claude looks at me and for a few moments, he does not speak. Jeba, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? My mother, of course. I was referring to a romantic kind of love. Romantic kind of love? What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. Oh. He smiles at me and it is surprisingly genuine. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all of the things that they do. Their presence makes you feel complete in a way you had never thought of before. You try to imagine life without that person and find that you cannot. To even consider such a thing is painful, so much so that it feels like it might break your heart. Claude continues talking, but my mind is already whirling. Though he phrases things in a way that still feels unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. The things he's describing, those are the things I feel when I am with him. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves, and then both of us turn. I can see a procession of knights, along with the king on his horse. He normally rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling, and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Ooh, he looked old. Wait. Sir Alcaster? Okay. Let us go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. Claude walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge, closer to the alleyways. I forgot the voice I gave him. I guess it was like,
My beloved citizens of Andrea, I have come before you today to make an important announcement. Ever since I was given this crown, I have sworn to live my life for the people, and to rule in all fairness, so that our kingdom can enjoy great peace.
Thank you. The crowd breaks into applause. I stare at the king, an uneasy feeling in my stomach when I notice that there is sadness in his eyes, though he's smiling. Then I notice Sir Alcaster appears to be hiding a smile. Oh, no, I'm really not doing a good job of it. I do not like where this is going. The king's speech goes on for long minutes after that. Oh, okay. With him detailing the commitments he made, the goals he set, and finally his love for the people. Thank you. I'll be here all week. The audience around us claps and cheers, but Claude and I are silent. Something is not right. I nod in response.
To this day, I keep this promise. I would never break this oath, for it is the foundation on which I rule.
The audience claps again, but I am silent, watching the king intently.
Unfortunately, the non-welcome news that I bring to you today gives me reason to hand this foundation over to someone else. I've fallen terminally ill.
What? Oh no, I already know where this is going. Oh shit. The king's proclamation is met with shocked and angry chattering from the audience. I cannot hear anything that is being said over the cacophony of voices, but I know that the audience is dissenting. I stiffen as I stare at the king. He is lying. I can tell by the firm set of his jaw and the way his eyes flicker across the crowd faster than they ought to. The king has lied to me so many times before that I can recognize when he does it.
I know that this is unfortunate news, but must come as a shock. I know that this unfortunate news must come as a shock, but this is an illness for which there is no current cure. As for the question of my successor,
he trails off for a few moments, and I think I see something in his eyes that hints at urgency, but I'm not sure why.
Crown Princess Emmeline is unmarried and still too young to rule on her own.
I feel a pang of irritation and confusion. Another line. Emmeline could rule just fine with the help of Sir Mithros and the others.
After much thought, I've come to the conclusion that our kingdom, which still continues to face danger from the witches, is best put in the capable hands of the commander of the Order of Caldera, Sir Alcaster.
I fucking knew it. What? I cannot hide my shock. The rest of the audience reacts similarly. Their sudden outburst is testament to the confusion.
While I will be providing support and assistance from the sidelines, I cannot, in all good grace, continue to wear this crown when I know I cannot serve my people as they deserve. Simply put,
I like how he's like talking about his crown, but he's not wearing any crown.
Simply put, I believe that the witches have gained more power in the recent months, and that Sir Alcaster is best suited to deal with these conflicts. The fairytale curse runs more rampant these days, and there have been more reports of incidents involving magic.
The murmuring continues, except now the townsfolk sound panicked. This cannot be true. I do not miss the reluctance in the king's next words.
Sir Alcaster has also suggested a number of remedies to our laws, especially concerning our security and work hours. I believe that Sir Alcaster can better rule this country in these turbulent times. Please show him all the love and loyalty you have shown me.
Fat bastard! Ooh! Spicy! Claude has a foul expression on his face, and his words feel heavy, even in a low whisper. I know the king. He takes every duty upon himself, and he would never hand his crown to someone else. Once Sir Alcaster comes to stand on the podium, he silences them with a glare. Which voice should I give him? Let's see.
Citizens of Andalea, I swear to you that I will serve you as well as Gennaro has. That being said, I also believe some changes will need to be made.
Sir Alcaster continues to speak. He mentions things like curfews for safety, extended work hours, and additional taxes to go toward the knights. But I am slowly beginning to block out the drone of his voice. What is going on? Sir, no. Alcaster must have done something to force the king into this charade. The king stands behind Alcaster with his hands clasped, his eyes alert, but there is a helplessness to them that I have never seen before. It isn't long before the crowd's unsettled murmuring becomes agitated whispering. I am stunned when Claude cups his hand to his mouth and starts shouting. That is only one king! King Gennaro! Claude grips my hand and starts leading me around the outskirts so that people cannot spot him as he continues his shout. The crowd begins to chant along with Claude, and then they draw nearer to the stage where my father and Alcester are standing. There is only one king! King Gennaro! There's only one king, King Gennaro! Let's go, Gerard. The crowd is right next to the platform now, and the chant carries on. Claude pulls me behind him, but my mind is on my father and on his desperate eyes. Hours later, the Merchant's Tavern is chaotic. People are talking over each other, trying to relay the scene that they saw in town today. Every visitor here is talking about what they witnessed. I have been in a corner of the room this entire time, trying to understand everyone but failing. Delora and Parfait are not here to calm all of this chaos. Hey, Princess, how are you feeling? I almost jump when I hear Rumpel's voice. Surprised? I can feel when a damsel is in distress, milady. I am really not in the mood for your flirting, Rumpel. Oh, my apologies. I thought you might have wanted some cheering up. Where's your partner? He went out to town to survey the situation. Kermit doesn't do anything around the tavern, but he does a whole lot for you, doesn't he? I suppose that's the least a man in love can do. I feel myself blush. What is Rumpel going on about? Princess, you're pink. I am not! My mind feels all scrambled now. This is all Rumpel's fault. Thankfully, before Rumpel can continue talking, the door opens and Delora walks inside to call the marching boarders into the reception room. When I step into the reception room, I am surprised to see two familiar figures standing beside Parfait. Emmeline and Rod. Both of them look downtrodden and discouraged. Everyone is noticeably shocked as they step inside. The prince and princess? Where did they come from? What is happening at the palace? What of Queen Ophelia? We need silence in the room, everyone. Delora raises her voice, effectively causing everyone to pause. She glances at Parfait, who nods and then turns to look at Rod and Emmeline. Princess Emmeline, if you would tell everyone what you told Delora and I. The room is unnaturally quiet as Emmeline begins her story. She starts with the events of 1 week ago. In the middle of a familiar dinner, Alcester burst in with soldiers and seized her, Rod and Ophelia in front of the king. Sir Al... I gave her a really high-pitched voice before, didn't I? Sir Alcester! No. Sir Alcester! It's really annoying. The voice I gave her was really, really annoying, right? Let's see. Sir Alcester said that if the king... Let me give me a minute. Give me a minute. It's been a while since I voiced for her. No. I'm so sorry. You're dying. I'm dying. We're all dying. God. What was the voice I gave her? Sir Alcester said that if the king didn't... Oh my god. Oh my god. This is really hard to do. It's been so long since I voiced Emmeline. Holy fuck. What was the voice I gave her? It was like really high-pitched, really annoying. This is so bad. I'm so sorry. I'll try giving her the better voice the next episode if she's back, but holy fuck, I'm gonna have to give her a different voice this episode because I don't remember the voice I gave her. Or at least how to do it. Sir Alcester said... Oh my god. Sir Alcester said if the king didn't hit on my crown, he would kill us. No.
Sir Alcazar.
You kills. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Sir Alcazar. Sir Alcazar said, okay, I'll just do this voice. Sir Alcazar said that if the king didn't hand over the crown, he would kill us. We had no idea a coup would be staged.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for her voice. The three of them were taken down to the prison cells, with Ophelia taken to a separate cell.
Sir Fitzgerald helped us escape, but only just barely.
Fritz, are you openly disobeying your father? I hope that he is safe. Alcaster wanted to kill the king. I'm sure that he still will. But he has no reason to. The king has already handed over his crown. I speak before even realizing. Everyone stares at me, including Rod and Emmeline. Alcaster is a foul man. I only think he usurped the throne I only think he usurped the throne now without violence because he wants less resistance from the people. He never spoke up to my father before.
Did you just say father?
It's a long story, Em. Emmeline looks between Rod and I, her expression confused.
You know each other?
We do. Emmeline looks like she wants to say something, but she remains silent. Our mother is still inside the palace.
He needs to save her somehow. And Sir Fitzgerald.
What happened to Fritz? We don't know. He helped us escape, but we were spotted at the last minute. He told us to run ahead and leave him behind.
We didn't see him again after that, and we just couldn't wait. So Rod brought me here.
Right now, we need to piece together this situation as quickly as we can. And then we need to figure out a way to save the king. I knew Alcaster was up to something, but I never thought it would escalate into this. Jurin, what do you know about this? Garland and I weren't stripped of our titles because we disobeyed Alcaster's orders. It was because we overheard Alcaster plotting something and tried to tell the king of his plot. We gave him a warning, but the king did not believe us, not with Alcaster and Mithros whispering in his ears. The king didn't think Alcaster was possible of such a betrayal. He thought we were trying to turn him against Alcaster for our own gain. And so Alcaster stripped us of our titles and banished us from the palace. Lady Parfait found us, and while we were happy to help out at the tavern, we also intended to eventually do something about the mess in the palace. So Alcaster has been planning to do this all this time? Spoopy. When we part for the night, Parfait and Delora take Rod and Emmeline to a room that they can share. Ooh, my god. Well. That's gonna be it for this episode of Cinderella and Phenomenon. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!